Welcome, firefighters. It's great to have you here. Today, we're talking about the dirty deal that West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin and New York Senator Chuck Schumer are trying to push through Congress. We're going to give you all the information you need about the deal and, most importantly, how you can help stop it from becoming a reality. Let's begin with the top things you need to know about Manchin's dirty deal.
Have you heard about the closed-door dirty deal that West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin and New York Senator Chuck Schumer are trying to push through Congress? Here are 4 things you should know about the dirty deal. 1. It could sacrifice lives and the health of communities to the oil and gas industry. Pollution from fossil fuels causes around 1 in 5 premature deaths globally. The deal's proposed increase in oil, gas, and coal projects would trade the health of families in Alaska, Appalachia, and the Gulf Coast for money in big oil CEOs' pockets. If allowed to go through, these projects would lock in decades of contaminated air, water, and land, which could lead to health problems including asthma, heart disease, cancer, neurological deficits, and pregnancy complications. 2. It would silence our voices. According to a leaked draft, the deal would gut environmental reviews and public comment. These are some of the only ways that communities can make their voices heard when coal, oil, and gas projects threaten their health, lands, and waters. The deal would do this by undermining the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, as well as the Clean Water Act. 3. It would sabotage our climate goals. The science is clear. We cannot afford any new coal, oil, or gas projects if we're going to avoid a climate catastrophe. In fact, we already have more fossil fuel reserves than we can safely burn. The deal's plan to expedite oil, gas, and mining projects would counteract much of the renewable energy investments in the Inflation Reduction Act. 4. There's still time to stop Manchin's dirty deal from becoming a reality if we all speak out. Contact your reps. Reject Manchin's dirty deal.
Two weeks ago, I spoke about the dirty deal with Jean Sue, who's the Energy Justice Program Director at the Center for Biological Diversity, and here's what she had to say about it. And so what's with this dirty side deal that everybody's talking about on fossil fuel permitting? What's really in it?
So one of the things that I think people have to understand is that Senator Schumer and Senator Manchin came together in a gentleman's agreement and wrote out what each of them would agree to. So the IRA and this new permitting dirty deal came together as a bulk package. One of the very disturbing facts is that Senator Schumer in this gentleman's agreement agreed to pass this in some type of must-pass legislation in order to honor his side of the deal. And the intention was to pass it sometime in September. It's already September 2nd right now. Nobody has the official text of this deal. So what is precisely in this? Like, what is the exact text? It hasn't even been released yet. And people are supposed to vote on this in a couple of weeks. That in and of itself is crazy in terms of our democratic process, that senators haven't even seen this or members of Congress, but actually the fossil fuel industry, like the American Petroleum Institute, has, but actual lawmakers have not. So having said that we don't know the actual specific final language yet, we have had leaks of what is in this. And the leaks have come in the form of a watermarked bill by the American Petroleum Institute. It's in the watermark there. And that was released to the press, as well as a wish list from Senator Manchin. So let's get into, based on those 2 documents alone, what is in there. So based on those 2 documents alone, it will truncate the public's ability to protest projects, especially fossil fuel projects across the country. So right now, the country has some really incredible bedrock environmental laws. One of them is the National Environmental Policy Act. I think many people's eyes start glazing over when you think about environmental reviews, but environmental reviews in this country are actually a bedrock of our democracy. For many environmental justice communities, it is the only tool available to them to fight back against fossil fuel projects that are poisoning their communities. What this bill does is that it truncates the amount of time that they have to voice opposition and offer review. It truncates the amount of time that agencies have to actually do meaningful analysis of what these projects will actually do to communities and the planet and wildlife, and to actually think about credible alternatives to them. So this is an assault on our democracy. This is an assault on our basic and fundamental environmental tools we have to fight against fossil fuels. And that's what is at stake for this permitting bill. It is ramshackling and ramming through fossil fuel projects that climate scientists, again, have said, we have no room for that in our carbon budget.
Now let's check in with a Greenpeace campaigner to walk us through the process of stopping the dirty deal.
So right now, the strategy that we've heard coming from the Democratic leaders, from Speaker Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Schumer, is that they're planning to attach the dirty deal to something called a continuing resolution, or a CR. And a clean continuing resolution is one where this dirty deal is nowhere near it. We need to have a continuing resolution passed by October 1st, or the US government will shut down. It's one of those situations. We expect the continuing resolution to pass, and we also expect that to be a clean one. But, this is Congress, so there's a lot of different outcomes that could happen. The quickest pathway to success would be for Democratic leadership to decouple the dirty deal from the continuing resolution, and not only decouple it, but just say, you know what, this dirty deal, it's not going to work for us, and just table it, just remove it completely. If they decouple it, they could also say, hey, we're going to vote on this by itself. And actually, we think that if Congress were to vote on the dirty deal by itself, we don't think it would pass. Why would it pass? The main person who wants this to happen is Joe Manchin. And we have seen that his views are often far out of step with the rest of the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to climate. One of the things that I think is really frustrating about this dirty deal is that it's pretty representative of a lot of the backroom deals that happen in Congress. It's almost like a trope, right? Like two longtime senators make a backroom deal and shake hands, and then millions of people are impacted and affected. I mean, that's business as usual in how Congress works in a lot of ways. But, we're disrupting that business right now. And the way that we disrupt that is by getting a lot of people involved and a lot of people contacting their representatives. When it comes to things happening in Congress, your representative has power, and they only have power when they're representing your interests. And so it's really important for you to make sure that your representatives know what your interests are. Representatives, there's literally hundreds of them in the country. They are across the spectrum in terms of how engaged and how much they care about the climate. But if they have large constituencies within their districts or their states that are telling them that climate matters, all of a sudden that representative is going to feel a responsibility and a duty to also care about the climate. And that's how we make big change happen in this country.
You know how we always say that to make change, you have to take action? Well, firefighters, now's the time to take action. Here's what you need to do. Step 1, call 1-888-593-5407 to tell your representative to stop the dirty deal. Step 2, sign up at firedrillfridays.com/takeaction. Greenpeace will provide you with a toolkit that has everything you need to visit your representative's office in person, including a letter to deliver and a community to support you along the way. Step 3, let us know how it felt to take action. You can share your experiences on Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag Dirty Deal. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. See you next time.